What happened?
What up?
You had a delayed crack on that one. What happened?
I saw your crack and I didn't hear it, so I thought maybe we might have had a technical difficulty to start the show off.
I'd call
But
that a
I
technical.
hear your voice loud and clear.
That was a crack difficulty. So take a drink for that
Mm,
one.
all right.
Yeah, we're back. The Ballon drunks cracking their beer. One
Epis-
cracking theirs a little later than the others. I'm Austin. He's Torin. We're the Ballon drunks. We're recording this on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts if you're
Apple
listening.
Podcast, soon to be
Check us out on
Spotify.
YouTube. Soon to be Spotify. That's right. Today we're going to go through our least favorite players. Last week we did our favorite players. So this is our least favorite 11. And I got to say this was harder for me to come up with than my favorite because I had so many players to pick from my favorites, but this one was really hard for me to get to a full squad of 11. How about you?
It took quite a while. I started on this one the same time I started our favorite 11s. Actually, I was doing this one in parallel, and obviously took almost twice as long to come up with this list. Definitely the opposite with the favorite list. I was trying to cut down from a much larger list. This was a bit of the opposite. I was trying to fill out a full roster. Definitely took a while. So, but I think we got some good names. Um, I think we'll have some names that probably match.
I
Some
I
surprises.
want to place a bet, an over under on how many players
Okay.
we both have on our team. I'm gonna set the line at 4, or let's go 4.5. 4.5.
Yeah.
Do you think
Okay.
we go over or under that?
I think I'm not going to be surprised. I think we go over. I think it's five.
You think
I
we have
bet we
five
hit
or
five.
more?
Yeah.
I know we
But
have
just
three.
over.
I know we have three for sure. There's three locks that I think anybody watching soccer with us would agree. But yeah. All right, let's before we get into it, let's get our drinks from the prior week. We had the international break, so I think you have the numbers in front of us. So what are we drinking?
Yeah, we had quite a few games over the break for mostly for the UEFA qualifiers, but obviously around the world. But just took a look at all the UEFA qualifier games since the last episode. We had four red cards across the week. So four drinks to start things off.
Four?
If you didn't already, grab a beer and crack it.
Four drinks. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
All right, now while you're finishing yours, I'll finish mine in a second. For our least favorite 11, like our favorite, we tried to do a playable team. A starting 11 can manipulate the positions a little bit, but want to make it a little realistic that this team could actually play a match.
Yeah.
So, having said that, I made a couple of tweaks to my starters. I have 2 bench players. You have 8 bench players, so I'm excited to hear that list when we're done. But
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 at the back, 5-ish midfielders, and then 3
Mm.
up top. So that's how,
Mm.
or 2 up top. Forgive me. And so it's a little weird, but I'll get into it in a second. I'll start with my
Yeah.
goalie. I went Kepa, current
Oh.
goalie for Chelsea. Any goalie that refuses to come out when he's subbed, any player, the fact that you're a goalie doesn't matter. But when the coach tried to sub him out and he throws a tantrum like a little child and doesn't
Yeah.
want to come off the field, you're on my team for least favorite
Mm-hmm.
because nobody wants to come out. I'm fine when players get pissed off when they come off the field, but they come off the field. They don't
Yeah.
they don't refuse to come off. Like, who do you think you are? You're
Mm-hmm.
Kepa.
Yeah. You are the most expensive goalie ever.
Oh man, like I understand being pissed, but come on, dude. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's my starting goalie.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me play his defense attorney for a second though. So in that good catch in that situation, name a time where you have seen a goalie get taken out before PKs.
No, it
I
was a
will say
unique situation
it
where they were
was
going to
a pretty weird
PKs.
situation.
The
I
coach
agree 100%.
decided the backup goalie is better at PK, so I'm going to put him in. And
Yeah,
Keppa, who was in the entire game, was like, F that.
yeah,
I'm not coming out. And it's like,
yeah.
okay, I respect you
I
wanting to
get it,
keep
but
playing, but get your ass off the field. Like,
you still come out.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Come bitch about it
exactly.
later, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well, it's
So
a
yeah.
good pick. He crossed my mind when I was thinking of goalies. He's probably, I don't know, second or third on my list, I would say. I went with Iker Casillas
Oh, really?
as my goalie.
Okay.
I have never liked this guy. So I guess first for my list, there's probably going to be some common themes throughout it. So there's either personality things where I don't like guys the way they carry themselves or the way they like talk or act to their teammates, right? If they're like kind of selfish, not team players, blame other people, that sort of shit. Also, whew, good catch.
Torno's
If
about to burp and just
that was a
walked away
full
for a
catch.
second. Yeah.
That was
And
a
then
full
complimented
catch.
himself for, oh, good catch to myself. You're like that
The-
NFL
yeah,
draft guy who sneezed and was like,
shoot,
bless you.
bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, great.
Classic.
Yeah, anyways, so common themes with my team, I think. So it's either going to be players that are like selfish on the field, don't aren't team players, or they're just like total douches, or they're just not likable. And for me, he's one of those guys that falls into that category. He carries with him kind of the some of the stigma of those Spanish teams that played like the most unappealing soccer ever. He's tied in with that to a degree, so I always would associate that with him. Um, he's kind of got a punchable face. Just the way he like talks in the media,
Just something about
and
your face. Just something
yeah,
about your face.
just want to punch you.
That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have a couple of those guys on my team actually.
Yeah, but nothing personal.
Yeah.
That's just you came to my head first, Iker.
None
So
of this is
you're on the list.
personal except for like two guys on my team. We'll get to them later. But yeah, so the theme of my team, I don't like floppers. I don't like people who dive.
Oh, yep,
So that's a
yep,
theme throughout my team.
yep.
I don't like just all around douchebags, peacocking douchebags, and not winning players. That's kind of the theme of my team. I realized. So, okay, so I did my goalie. I'm going to start with the back here. I'll start with the captain of my team, actually, in the back.
Cool.
Yeah, this is the captain, meaning my least favorite player of all time, and that is ex-Chelsea defender, England international John Terry.
All right.
One of the biggest tools I've ever come across. This guy, not only did he have a punchable face, but all I gotta say is one story. This guy was the captain of his international team. And he was married and he cheated on his wife with his quote unquote best friend, Wayne Bridge, who was on the team with him, or cheated on his wife with Wayne Bridge's girlfriend. Whoa, that went on the wrong track.
It's going
Dang, I
wild.
haven't even finished one beer and I'm already off the rails. Yeah, so I went to the Padre game last night. Things are a little, yeah.
I'm sure you had to drink after that outing.
So this guy not only cheats on his wife with one of her best friends, like they were friends, like this couple were friends, and he's the captain of his team. Wayne Bridges on his team, and cheats
He
on
is the captain
his wife
of
with
him.
Wayne Bridges' girlfriend, who he's got a kid with. And it's like, dude, what do you? This was right before the World Cup. There was all this talk about like, oh, you got to strip him of the captaincy and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, that can't be good for the locker room. That can't be good.
No.
Like, how much of a douchebag are you? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So he is captaining my team, and
He is also in my team.
he is on your team. Yeah, he's got to be.
He's one of my I didn't get into my formation, but I've got a 4-4-2 similar to my favorite 11. He's one of my center backs. Yeah, echoing everything you said. To be not only a teammate, but to be the captain of the team and to be pulling those types of headlines is just not a likable guy. I will, and then just adding on to that, one of my favorite memories of that era was there was a game, I don't know, maybe the next 2 seasons later or season later, where he actually went and played against Wayne Bridge, and he refused to shake his hand during the warm up, which was awesome. Just cold, cold psyched him during the warm up, which was awesome.
Yeah,
But
fuck that
yeah,
guy. Can you
and
believe that?
total, like you mentioned it, but same theme as my last guy. Punchable face. He has that smirk about
He
him
had this
that's like,
smugness about him. Like he
yeah,
always
smug.
carried
Yeah,
himself with like this air of
that
pretentiousness, and it's like,
he's
dude, fuck you. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so he's
Um,
both on our team. Who else do you have in the back?
yeah. All right, so my other center back is my first current player is Mr. Harry Maguire at center back.
He didn't make my team. He didn't make my team, shockingly.
Not even the bench.
No, not the
Okay.
bench, no.
Um, Mr. Moai statue face himself is I gotta say, I do feel a little bit bad for him, but he was overhyped,
He got paid so much money.
overpaid
Do not feel
for.
bad for him.
I mean, yeah, but overhyped, overpaid for, and just not to the caliber of somebody that should have been paid what was paid for him. Not the greatest defender of all time should have been paid what was paid for him. And
Hmm.
not Harry Maguire. He's just not. You can't count on. He's not consistent. He's a liability at times against any sort of speedy or shifty player. He's going to cause trouble for your team. So just I wouldn't want him to be on my team.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would always be nervous if he was in the back and I was playing in the midfield or something. I would not want that guy behind me as the wall of defense. So just not somebody I like watching play.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't dislike him. I just think he's bad. And
Yeah.
you're like you said, he was overpaid for sure. Okay, so he's in the back with John Terry for you. Uh,
Hmm.
One of my other center backs is current player for PSG, Spanish international Sergio Ramos. Now this guy's number one fan is Sergio Ramos. He is all about himself, and it just he carries himself that way. And I also feel like he's one of the most overrated players. To where, okay, let me lay this out first. He's not a bad player, okay,
Yeah.
but he's talked about like he's one of the best defenders of all time, and I don't think he's even close. He's
Hmm.
always been on an incredible team, one, and he's always got an incredible partner next to him, whether it be Puyol on the international team or Varane for years. One thing I will say is he's great going forward. He's good on corner kicks. Like that's
Great
where
in the air. Yeah.
great in the air.
Hmm.
I think his defending is lacking, and on top of that, I think he's a dirty player.
Oh yeah.
That play on Mo Salah,
Solid. Yeah.
reprehensible,
Hmm.
reprehensible. That was so blatant and injured him. 100% knew what he was doing. The dumbass announcers were like, "Oh, it's hard to tell."
Oh
It's like, no, dude, he
yeah.
knew exactly what he was doing. Took him out of the game, and for that, you make my least favorite 11 because you're a douchebag. I'm gonna say
All
douchebag
right.
a lot this stream. Sorry,
Yep.
mom.
Amen. So he's also on my team. He's playing out at right back.
Okay, you put him at right back.
So yeah, so echoing everything you said. The first note I wrote down just says bitch. I just think he is the epitome of
Oh man, that's what we
just
should do. We should do one word association with each of these players.
yeah.
Gonna be a lot of those.
Bitch. But yeah, I said the same thing though. The cherry on top of everything about his vibe and everything was just the Mo Salah play. Just that one just put it over the top. He was one of the first names on the team sheet when we did this exercise. The one other thing I will also point out is it was a couple years ago now, but there's very heavy and probably meaty rumors that he's been juicing for years and was for years, has been for years. And, one of the reasons why he's been able to compete at the top and people think of him as being the best is very likely that he's been on something for a while.
There's so many players that are using that I don't think get popped or
True.
like we were talking about this in my other friend group with the NBA and the amount of
Mm-hmm.
juicing that goes on there and the fact that they don't even care because they
Yeah.
want the players to play 82 games. They want them out there. So they don't even care. They don't
They
even
want
pump this.
GP2 getting those Toradol shots.
Yeah, and it's like LeBron comes back after 2 weeks from like blowing out his
Yeah.
ankle or whatever.
Should have been
like,
out for 6
this
months.
guy's amazing. Can you believe it? Superhuman. It's like, yeah, how did he do that? How did he pull that off? Yeah. Guy. So yeah.
But yeah.
All right. My last defender. I
Yeah.
think you might have him too. The Pepe. Pepe. Portuguese international. And I think we both kind of brought him up last time when talking about it. Now that he's like 40 and still playing, I kind of have a soft spot for him when I saw him in the World Cup. But it wasn't enough to wipe away all of the hate that I built over the years for him. Because talk about a defender that dove. Oh my God. He dove. He did all like the dirty little things to like just get the job done, which made him a good player, but in just the worst way. It's like I just don't have respect for him.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I have respect for the longevity because I don't think he's a great athlete, and I think that's part of the reason why he had to play so kind of dirty to get the job done. But yeah, not a fan. Big time waster. If they were up, he was the first one to go down with some sort of cramp, and I was just like, dude, come on.
Yeah, he was so unlikable when he was on Madrid, and like you said, since then he's improved. So he improved enough to actually get bumped off of my starting roster onto my bench. He's still on my bench,
Yeah, okay.
but he's no longer holding a starting spot on the team. But yeah, everything you said, I don't know, he kind of carried that like thug vibe, but then also would be pretty soft in other situations, right? It was like this seesaw of like you hate him for just being like just like a Christian Romero at some points, and then at other points for just being like a floppy, bitchy, Real Madrid player. So yeah, he was really unlikable in that time frame.
Okay, so he dropped to your bench. So who did you then
He
put in
did.
his place?
So my starting left back. So I have four at the back instead of Austin's three. So my left back is Ashley Cole,
A lot of people
a
don't like him.
guy. A lot of people. I was gonna say a guy that a lot of people don't like. I will give him some props because he kind of just fed into it. I think at some point he just kind of said like, everyone hates me. I don't care anymore. I'll make even more people hate me. So he kind of just like played the role of the villain and went with it at some point. But to do what he did to the Arsenal fans, I forget what year it was when the transfer drama happened, but to go to want everyone wanting you to stay, and then to you just kind of F you to everyone and all the fans, and going just across the town to Chelsea was just a giant F you. You're never going to come back from that. It's impossible. So just stuff like that. He just once again that smugness when he's on the field, thinking he's better than everybody. Um, Not the type of guy that I felt like would like celebrate with teammates when they would score. Just everything about his aura, just not a fan.
Yeah.
So he's a starter.
Okay. All right. So there's our defense. You have those were all for your defenders, right? I did my
Yeah.
three. Okay. I have a central defensive midfielder. I'm guessing he's on your team too, but we'll see. Sergio Busquets. Did he make your roster?
He is my captain.
Oh, he's your captain. Okay, take it away. Tell me about your
I
captain.
I fucking hate that guy. um, I mean, he's like, once again, if we were gonna say one word, it would be bitch again, but it's like, excuse me, it's like bitch in a different way. It's like the softest of
Soft
the
ass
soft,
bitch.
just the softest ass bitch, right? It's just, oh, he just flop on everything. He was the greatest. I mean, he was great at it. He was the greatest sort of play actor, that we've probably had. And when in his golden era of play acting, he was the best at it. I'll never forget it's a Champions League game against Inter, I believe, and I forget who the player was, but there was this. They did like, there was like just like a random play. He flops, like he got like elbowed in the face or something and is dying, and there ended up being a red card. And then they show the replay, and they like zoomed in on him on the ground, and you could see him like crying, and then he goes like, and then like keeps going. And I was, from that moment on, it was just, I could never stand that guy. Just,
I never
oh, just
understood.
so
Maybe because
soft.
we're American, like that would not fly in the
No,
US. No
no.
one would like you. No one.
Your own team would, your own fans wouldn't like, your own team's
Dishonorable.
fans would like you.
Yeah, he's the worst. He was in running for my captaincy, but he didn't sleep with any of his teammates' girlfriends, so
All right,
that I
he's one
know
step.
of. So I gave the captaincy to John Terry instead. But
and
yeah,
and
he's
then on top of it, just his style of play. I mean, it's like, I give him props for his longevity. I mean, he's still around playing today. So and a lot of these guys, right? You might still respect them as players, but his style of play has just never been attractive to me.
some of
Never
these
enjoyed
players
watching it.
I respect. I respect as players. I don't respect
Hmm.
him as a player. I think he's the
Yeah.
most overrated player ever, and somehow people say he's the most underrated player ever, which is he's a very
No.
polarizing player. But
Yeah.
he's been surrounded. Talk about a guy who's been surrounded by talent his whole career. Played at
Yeah.
Barcelona.
He's
Played.
playing with Iniesta and Xavi.
Yeah,
It's like,
he doesn't have to do anything. Like
yeah.
it, and he didn't do much. He never was a factor in the game other than falling on the ground, pretending to be hurt, like you said, or
Yeah.
like making a side pass from Xavi to like the left back or something. It was,
Hmm.
yeah, he's just a waste of space, and I can't believe he's been around this long.
Sounds like it was a tough captain debate on your end.
It was, but the tipping point was cheating. So Busquets, you dodged that one, but you suck. All right. Well, let's just keep it in Spain. So this one
Yeah.
may be controversial, but my center mid is Xavi. Now, this guy, I do respect how good he is because he's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Having said that, I hate the way he plays. With every inch of me, I hate the way he plays. He, like, for example, he and Busquets were on the same team. He would get the ball, turn around to Busquets, they'd pass it back and forth to each other like 3 times while everyone else is just standing around. Like,
Yeah.
he was so happy to pass it backwards just to keep
Yeah.
possession. And that 2010 World Cup that they won,
Yep.
all they did was just keep possession, keep possession, keep possession, never went forward. They scored the
Yeah.
fewest goals of
Yeah.
any World Cup champion. They scored
Scored like
8.
6 goals and what, 8? Yeah.
8. They had 4 in the group stage, and then every single match after that, they won 1-0. 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 all the way through for the World Cup title. So like props to you, but I hated watching every one of their games. It was horrible.
Yeah. Amen. I think it was also like he was frustrating to me because, like you said, you respect him as a player, and I feel like he was good enough to not do that shit. Like he could have been more attacking. Like he could have been more like Iniesta,
Yeah, I loved
And it was like he
Iniesta.
was like and he was like choosing not to. Like he was like consciously doing what you're talking about. And so I feel like that made it even worse because you're
Mhm.
like, you are capable of like being really good. and
And he
and you're
would
choosing to like pass it with Busquets at the midline, you
Right.
know?
He would pull out a great pass here or there. Like he had the quality to do it, but he didn't
Yeah.
take chances so often where it's like, yeah, he could have taken a risk with that pass, but you know what? I'm going to pass it back to Puyol and we're going to hang on to possession a little bit longer just to make
Yeah.
sure we get a better pass next time. And it's like, dude,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, the boringest player to watch. So he's my center mid.
All right. So he didn't make my team. He's always been, we've talked about this before. He's definitely higher up on my, my list than you. Didn't make my favorite list, obviously, but we've had those debates before. For my other center mid, I went with my first truly dirty player. Really, the only reason I don't like this guy was Nigel De Jong.
He
Um,
is a dirty player.
Dirty player. So it's purely that, so many, being dirty or rough is very much a part of being, a defensive midfielder, center midfielder. A lot of the guys that I say I like are like that. Say a Gattuso or
Yeah.
something, right? But they aren't dangerously dirty, or they're at least balancing out with other qualities, right? Maybe they're not always doing that. This is a guy that I felt like that was his game. That was the only game he had, was to be as rough and dirty as possible. He broke Ben Arfa's leg in the Premier League it was that 2010 World Cup, I think, where I forget who it was, but he straight up karate kicked somebody in the chest.
I don't remember.
I forget who it was. It might have been on Spain. I don't remember, but you know what? I think it was on Spain. But yeah, like that's just the type of shit he did. I just don't respect players like that. Yeah, he was going back to that story when he broke Ben Arfa's leg. He was such a dick and douche about it that, I guess like the next day he said, he wanted to come to the hospital to apologize to him, and Ben Arfa said, no, don't come. I don't want to see you ever again. Just get the fuck out of here. So that's the type of guy he was. Nobody cared when he was gone.
Yeah, that's a strong choice.
You're my starting midfielder.
Okay. All right, so out on the right of my midfield, I have Ricardo Quaresma.
Oh.
Portugal international, played for like 17 teams.
Wow.
Porto being one of them. He had a stint in the Italian league. He went all over. You know why he went all over? Because he sucked to be on your team. Nobody wanted him. They're always like, he was full of talent, and then he gets to the team, and they're like, wait, this guy doesn't know how to play like a team player. He wasn't a team player. He had all this skill, all this potential, and it was just wasted on him. That's why I don't like him, because it was just wasted. It's like, dude, every time he comes in, you're like, dang, look at this guy. He's got great skills and stuff, but doesn't hustle on defense, doesn't play any defense whatsoever, is more concerned about being flashy and doing a Rabona than playing together and like passing the ball. So it's like,
yeah,
he's more like I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed, and like the parents dropped out on you. Like that's how I feel about Ricardo Quaresma. It's like, dude, you had so much potential. You could have been great, and you just suck. You just suck. Yeah. You got a teardrop tattoo when I know you're not tough. Like, come on. So yeah, that's all I got.
I could see the pick. He didn't pop into my head. He's a guy that was just, I think he a little bit of an ego complex when you play on an international team with Ronaldo.
Little bit. Oh my god.
I'm just saying, like, more than like a quote unquote normal star player would have, because he was always the little brother, the shadow, and I think it just added into that personality. It just like took it to the next level up, the next notch.
No, for sure. Good pick. He completely had an ego. And for those who don't know, he was a small Portuguese guy with a bunch of tattoos, a mohawk for most of his career. Like, this guy loved himself some him. And, no I in team. But there's an I in Ricardo, and he was all about it.
There's a me and Quaresma.
That's right.
All right, so my my right mid. A guy he definitely can play here. He typically now plays more like true forward, but he spent time out on this side. It is Neymar.
He's also on my team. I just have him up forward a little bit. So
Yeah, I'm as a forward.
yeah, take
Okay.
it away.
Um, the three words I wrote down were flop, complain, selfish. So all of the above. I mean, he's up there on the list of floppers and embellishers after flopping on top of it.
Yeah.
Huge complainer, always complaining. Complains more than Luka Doncic. It's just like
Ooh,
it's unreal.
that's tough to do.
Yeah, actually, maybe not Luka, but but he's up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, he's close. He's close.
Um, yeah, and then he's one of those guys where I don't think he's always selfish. But it like comes in waves, and it's like it's one of those things where like I'm sure you've played with players like this, but it's where like it only takes a little bit of repetition of being selfish at times to when to where it then throws off your game, because then you're not like I feel like I see this all the time with like PSG and the teams he's on. It's like he's selfish when you think he's not going to be, and then not selfish when you think he is going to be, and it just throws everyone else on the team off. I just feel like he would be an awful teammate to play with. Maybe not like personality wise or something, but on the field, trying to know what he's doing and anticipate what he's going to do. I just, of all the players on the list, I feel like would be the most difficult, because like he gets these spurts of selfishness and then wants to pass or something, and it's just like it disrupts the flow of the team, and it just feeds into the style I don't like. I like a team that's going to flow and be as unselfish as possible. So I think that's another feather in his cap for me.
Yeah. Well, he's on my team, so I 100% agree with you, and I think you laid it out really well about why he's not a good team player. I don't think he's a winning player. I think he's probably the most talented non-winning player there is. I made the comparison to you a little while ago. He's the Kyrie Irving of soccer, to where he's so talented, but when he's on your team, you're like, damn, I don't think we're better when he's on the team. Like,
Yeah.
like, and I think his results lay it out. Like, they always fell short in the World Cup when he was their quote unquote best player. And
Yep.
he's only won in the French league, which is the French league. And then he won at Barcelona when he was third best player, fourth best player. Like, if he's on the side and riding the wave of Messi, yeah, dude, I could win too. But I think if he's your main guy or one of your two main guys, like, you're in trouble. So, yeah, I totally agree.
Agreed. Yeah, not a winning player.
Okay, so he was at your right mid. Okay.
I had him at right mid. So who do you have out left?
My left is Raheem Sterling, England international, plays for Chelsea. He is, I think, the captain of flopping and diving. I don't know how many times he has scurried into the box and just fell over. I just can't stand it. And on top of that, I think he's really weak mentally. I think he lacks confidence in finishing. He's gotten better as he's gotten older, but I think he panics, and I don't think he's mentally tough. The Euros, the last Euros, you remember the penalty shootout. He didn't take a penalty. They put 19-year-old Saka up there to take the last penalty, and it's like, Sterling, where are you at? Like, aren't you?
This is your prime.
Isn't this like your team? Like you and Kane up top? Like, what? Why aren't you taking one? He never took a penalty because I don't think he was mentally tough enough. And I hate the diving. I absolutely hate the diving. I think I think anybody that dives in the box looking for a penalty, they should have a rule. It doesn't need to be in game because I don't want stoppage in play. But if it's like clear that you weren't touched and you just fell over to try to get the call, you should get a suspension. Like a fat fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should fine for sure. They should. He's also my starting left mid.
Oh, you got him in too? We're
again,
well over
we're
4.5.
Yeah, I think we're on pace for hitting the over. I as I said, I didn't take very many notes on this, but the one thing I wrote down in all caps was "can't finish." So
Yeah.
echoing everything you're saying there. And yeah, especially I'm glad you brought it up, but that penalty kick moment was just kind of the capper. It was like, for whatever reason it is, whether you're not mentally strong enough, whatever it is, but just the fact that you as the veteran on the team in your quote unquote prime are going to allow a 19-year-old kid to take all the pressure of your entire country on his shoulders. I can't imagine doing that. Like,
soft.
It's just
soft.
Yeah,
as
soft.
Kobe would say, soft. All right, sweet.
All right,
I have 2 players left. Do you have 2 players left as well?
I do.
Okay.
So why don't you read off your team so far?
Okay, I have Kepa in goal. In the back, I have Sergio Ramos, Pepe, and John Terry, my captain. In the midfield, I have Busquets and Xavi holding it down. And then on the outside, Ricardo Quaresma, and Raheem Sterling. And then Neymar as one of my top 3 in the front.
Okay, yeah, we already hit that. That's right. Yeah, so for me, I got Casillas in goal, Ashley Cole out left, Harry Maguire, John Terry in the middle, Sergio Ramos out right. I have Sterling on the left like you, also Busquets in the middle along with Nigel de Jong, and then I have Neymar out right rather than up top. So I'll go next since you only got one player left. My first forward off the list, I don't know if he's going to be on your list, but this is an American.
No way.
And his name is Josie Altidore.
No way! I got him, dude. So I put him on my bench of 2. He is on my bench. I am so can't believe you did it, dude. I had him in there and I was like, man, should I really do this? I don't know if I could do this. I don't know. And I put him on my bench, but thank you for putting him on. Thank you. That's an American, everybody. Drink. That's the first American.
Drink. There we go. So I felt like, I did the list and then I was like, just trying to finish it off. And I came back and I was like, there's got to be an American I can put on this list, right? I hadn't even, he didn't like pop into my head right away.
He popped into mine immediately.
I also did the same exercise. I was like, there's got to be an Italian as well. So on my bench, I have an Italian. So, the 2 teams.
Let me try to guess that one later. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, I mean, just talk about the king and not being able to finish. Just not a winning player. Underwhelming, underperforming. Performs well in the games that don't matter. Performs like shit in the ones that do matter. I just felt like he was just like kind of soul and dream crushing for so long for us. When we would see him in the lineup, see him in that starting lineup, would just be like, no.
That is, dude.
No.
You are speaking through me. I feel like this is. Yeah, because every time I saw the lineup and he would be up top, you just let out this. God damn it. For years, I was like, this can't be our best forward.
Yeah.
This can't be our best forward in the country. You can't tell me that this guy is our best option in the country. This isn't possible. He just brought me so much sadness and disappointment. Yeah, by all accounts, he's a great guy, but man, was it disappointing to see him on the lineup every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a welcome spot up front.
Well, hang on. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Would you take Josie Altidore or take your pick of Josh Sargent, Haji Wright, or, I don't know, any other number 9 for the U.S. that we had in the World Cup.
At the World Cup. Ooh. Damn.
I'd take him over
I
Haji
feel like
Wright.
yeah, I would do that. I think it's like a dead heat between him and Sargent probably in terms of like skill and, you know, finishing capability. They both kind of played up to and at around the same level, you know, at their peaks.
Yeah.
You know, that like championship, very bottom of the Premier League club team level.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. My point is we haven't made it much further past him, but
Exactly.
yeah,
I would definitely take Pepe over him, the up and coming American forward. I think he's a number 9 now. Definitely would choose him over him.
Yeah, he hasn't let me down, so therefore he's ahead. All right, great pick, fantastic pick. He's one of my 2 bench players.
All right.
So the person that I put on in place of him because I felt bad for putting him on there is Jack Grealish, England international, plays for Man City. I just can't love Jack Grealish. Every time I see him, every like inch of him, it just screams douchebag. Like I am a peacocking douchebag. He's almost like taking pride in it. I feel like to be like, it's like he gets up in the morning and he's getting ready for the match. And he's like, how do I look like the biggest douchebag I can possibly be? Let me get a hairband, pull my hair back, but only halfway so it pops out like a little mushroom top. That way people will know I'm a douchebag. But just in case they don't know for certain, I'm going to get some 6-year-old shin guards and wear them just above my ankle with these tiny socks. And I got to make sure I wear the tiniest shorts possible so I can show my quads, because I've been doing squats for quite a while now, and they're looking pretty good. That's not enough. Let me make sure I get a size shirt that's like 8 sizes too small and just really squeeze into that thing. Then people will know I'm a douchebag. I think I did enough. And he's like, okay, let's go. That's Jack Grealish. That's all I got to say.
Oh, man. You forgot to mention his extraordinary calves.
Got to show those off, too. Socks are pulled down so low over those baby shin guards. You got to show off everything you can.
Oh,
and then he got in trouble during COVID for having some hookers over and like getting out with, and he had to make a public apology.
Right?
Yeah, him and another player, they went out to like with some call girls in the middle of COVID and they got caught, and it was just oh man. Yeah, he's a gem. He's a real
probably
gem.
The only player on any of our lists that was hated enough in general that a fan came in from off the stands to punch him in the face.
Dude, I need to find that fan and buy him a beer. Oh my god.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I like him. he's definitely not on my list. I definitely agree with all of the peacocking shit you're talking about. But when he talks and stuff, I think he's got a good personality. I think he's actually like a nice guy. He does a lot of charity and stuff.
Oh, don't bring charity into this.
I know. I have a more, I don't know, balanced opinion about him, I think.
Sterling also is a really like one of the nicest people, apparently.
True.
But if you dive as much as he does, you make my least favorite 11.
But Grealish could take it, I feel like. He knows what he's doing. He's doing it on purpose, and he's like, bring it on. He
is. So yeah, he's
gonna love that you're saying this.
There's a little bit of respect to like just own it that much, but at the same time, I would hate myself if I did that. I would just be like, dude, I'm such a douchebag. I can't believe this. But yeah, he just eats it up.
All right, great pick. My last player, my other starting forward, is Luis Suarez.
Ding, ding, ding. Same one too.
Okay. All right.
I had a feeling it's pretty hard not to have him on. Like, is there a more hated player than him? Like universally, maybe De Jong because he's so dirty. Ashley Cole's another one, but like Suarez.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I
but
the
you
one
bite people.
well the one thing I wrote down was the bite.
Which one? Which one?
I
He's
know. There's
bitten
been multiple.
3 different players. 3 different occasions of him biting people while playing a match. 3. He
Oh,
needs
that's
to be
great.
he needs to be taken
He
out
needs the
behind a
Hannibal
stadium
Lecter.
and just beaten the shit out of him. You don't bite people. What how is
Yeah.
that even I don't understand how that crosses your mind
Yeah.
like, oh fuck this guy, I'm gonna bite him.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Seriously.
Yeah, you bite
Yeah,
people, you're on my team.
I still remember the so that first one was the one with Chiellini, right? I think that was in the Euros or something. I forget what it was. Or no, it was World Cup or
I
it
don't
must have been
remember
World
the
Cup.
timeline, but he bit Kalini, he bit
Yeah.
Ivanovic, the defender on Chelsea,
That's right. Yep.
and he bit who was the other guy he bit? He bit
Maybe in
somebody
Spain or
else.
something.
I swear there
Yeah.
was a third one that he bit somebody. And it's like I feel like he should just be banned from
Yeah.
playing
He's
ever
definitely
again.
he definitely has a punchable face too.
And what sucks is that
Really
he's so good.
such a good player.
He's such
Like
a good
those
player.
those years at Liverpool, he was just like the epitome of a one man wrecking crew. Like you could be put him up there by himself and he would score. So definitely respect him as like his skill, but just everything else about it just not likable. He's he was I think he was the third guy out off onto my team sheet, so near
Yeah.
the top.
Uh yeah, dude. So he bit Ivanovic,
Okay.
Chiellini,
Okay.
and oh wait, where's the third one? Did I go past it? Otman Bakal, Ajax captain. He was banned
Okay.
for 7 games for biting the PSV Eindhoven midfielder.
Okay.
When he was at Ajax, he was the Ajax captain. I read that wrong. So in
Oh, okay.
2010, so that was the first one. We should have known.
Hmm.
2010 at Ajax, he bit somebody. He was banned seven
Yeah.
games, and then he bit Ivanovic. And was he even banned? 10-game ban after that.
Yeah.
And then he bit Chiellini and avoided punishment.
Yeah.
Football's governing body
Insane,
suspended
man.
Suarez from all football-related activities for 4 months. Okay, that was international. Dude, it's just...
Yeah. Yeah. How do you do it more than once, man? How do you do that
How do
once
you
and
do
then
it
you're like,
once? How
I'm
do
gonna
you do it
well, I know.
once?
But then how do you do it again? You do it once, and you're like, everyone hates me for this. Why did I do this?
It,
And then you go and do it again.
like if you are just mad about something, you push, you punch, you kick. Soccer, a lot of people
Yeah.
kick. Maradona's got a famous kick. Uh,
Yeah.
but who bites? Who bites?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Super weak. So yeah, total douche.
All right. Well, that's our starting lineups. I guess I'll read off mine quickly, and then I'm dying to know who your other bench player is. So
It's not as exciting as Josie Altidore. I thought he was gonna be the.
okay.
Yeah, I thought he was
But
gonna be the
so
one.
my team from front to back, I got Casillas, Ashley Cole, Maguire, John Terry, Ramos in the back, Sterling, De Jong, Busquets, and Neymar, and then up top, the names we just went through, Suarez and Josie Altidore.
So, who's your manager? Do you have a manager?
Oh, okay. Before the bench. Uh, Also one of the first names
Can I guess?
onto the sheet. Yeah.
Is it Simeone?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. How is that guy
Yeah.
not everyone's least favorite coach?
Then I have an honorable mention. I don't even think we need to talk about Simeone.
Yeah,
He's
no,
just
done. We don't even
no.
need to.
But I have an honorable mention coach with Bruce Arena. Just trash. Just the epitome of like I feel like a coach that like he could have been like standing. He could have been like sitting there, or like standing there on the sideline and like looking the other direction and coach just as well as if he was watching the game. Like I don't feel like he fucking did anything useful, and was just a reminder of some of the dark days of USA soccer. So I got him on there as an assistant coach.
Yeah, good call. Um, I want to guess you're Italian on the bench.
Okay.
This is tough. I've never heard you talk poorly about an Italian before, so this is going to be a tough one, but I'm going to guess Materazzi.
No, he
Ah,
could he could be up there.
dang.
Okay, so just to give some background, I do definitely respect this guy as a player, but there was one particular thing that caused me to not like him for a long time. Um, I don't know. I don't want to give it away, but
Well, yeah, just tell me then. I'm not going to get it.
okay, it's Daniele De Rossi.
Oh, really? What did he do?
In the 2006 World Cup, he's the guy that elbowed McBride in the face and like caused
Mm,
him to bleed and got a red card. And I hated him. I mean, obviously I love Team Italy, but it was against the USA. I thought it was a dirty ass play. He kind of like it looked on purpose, and he kind of did the like I didn't do anything,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the and I it just always rubbed me the wrong way. So I've always like had that little bit of all the Italian players, and I mean he had a great career, kind of like Totti, just like absolute Roma legend.
Yeah.
You know, like respect him as a player, but that incident just always stuck with me, and so I was like, I gotta find an Italian I don't like for some reason, and that was the guy
That was the
that
closest
I
you could
picked
get.
out.
Left a sour taste in your mouth. I get
Yeah,
it. Yeah, my other my other bench guys, I had Josie number one on my bench, and then I had Mascherano, which I was contemplating, but then I was like, you know what?
oh
I don't
fuck,
know. I don't know if he doesn't crack the lineup for sure. He's got to be on the bench. So Mascherano on the bench, and
damn.
then Scott Parker also was pretty much a douchebag across the board. So
Okay.
England international.
Yep.
Coach for who did he coach for like 2 games and then was fired?
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
4 games, I think.
Can't even remember. It was like,
Oh
oh, you
my
got a
god.
great
That was
shot.
that was this year.
He
That was
deserved that for his career. Whatever owner it was like, man, fuck that Scott Parker. Let's hire him just to fire his ass.
yeah. Let's make him have some of the worst year of his life. So I just threw out some names. Like, so my bench is mostly guys that like, I found a little bit less unlikable, but either some about their personality or there was some incident that just always stuck with me. Mostly, I'm looking at this list. It's just mostly guys that seemed very selfish or like douchebaggy. So I'll read through my list pretty quickly here. But I got Samuel Eto'o.
Oh, interesting.
I've always thought he was the most selfish player on the field. Another guy that I don't think I would enjoy playing with. Um, I have Romero made the bench for just some of his dirty antics. A player that like I was similar to like McGuire, where it's like I would feel like there's a liability on the field, not because he's bad
Different
like
liability.
McGuire,
Yeah.
but because I feel like he'd get a red card at any time. I have Pepe on the bench. We talked about that. I have Cantona on the bench,
What? Okay, so he's a douchebag I like.
as douchey as it gets. Great player, confident, huge, crazy skills, but just always came across as just the douchiest guy when he was out there on the field. That one goal celebration when he scores and just kind of like turns into a statue, like looking around the stadium with his
Turns
collar
around and
popped
just
up.
looks.
His collar's popped, shirt tucked in, and he's just kind of fucking like
Is
looking
he the
around like this
French Jack
fucking
Grealish?
god.
No, he's
Yeah,
way better
the
than Jack
original.
Grealish, though. Jack Grealish had posters of Cantona in his room, but he's not as
Yeah.
good as Cantona was. That was a sick
I
goal,
have
though.
a
That was a sick chip.
that was a sick goal. Um, who else do I have here? I have Rivaldo on the bench as a selfish player. I have Ronaldo on the bench, Cristiano.
Mmm.
So might draw some controversy there, but I
Oh, a
feel
lot
like
of people
there's
hate him. A lot of people hate him.
yeah, yeah, but I think we definitely respect his game. But there was a stretch of time in his career from like the second half of when he was at Man U to like most all of when he was at Real, where he just came across as just the ultimate pretentious douchebag. Comments like the other players foul me because I'm good looking and rich, like just saying shit like that. It's like you don't need to say that shit. We know that shit, like just like he played into that persona so much more than he really had to. I think I feel like he's gotten better now later, but there
Yeah.
was a while there where I thought it was deserving. And last, I have Joey Barton as
Oh
just the
yeah.
ultimate dirty player.
Him and Scott
Had to
Parker
have
probably
had to
hang
find a
out.
spot for him. Had to find a spot for him on the bench.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. That's a great list. Yeah, I agree with all those except Cantona. Love Cantona. The way you like Jack Grealish, I like Cantona.
Yep, exactly.
That goal celebration is classic. The turnaround with his hands out, like, are you not entertained? Did y'all see what I just did?
God. Fucking douche. Oh,
Oh,
yeah, I failed to mention he also had that incident where he literally 2 foot air tackled a fan in the chest in the stands during a game.
honestly, that fan probably deserved it. And I think fans should get hit more often because they say some heinous shit.
They do,
And most of the
especially in Europe.
players are in much better shape than them, usually bigger than them, and can whoop their ass.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I encourage that.
yeah. All right. I guess any last thoughts on your team? Any go backs?
I have no hesitation with my picks. I feel confident
Okay.
about all of them. I think all these guys are pretty big douches. I think I had the most trouble with Xavi because he is so good, but it was more
Mhm.
like I don't like him because he bores me and I don't like his style of play, whereas the other guys are more like douchebags and I don't like their game.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick one that was like on the fence, it was Xavi, but everything else I'm pretty confident with.
Yeah. Yeah, I found it, like I said at the beginning, it was difficult at first to do it. And then when I kind of expanded my criteria to just dirty players as well, I was able to flesh it out. So, you know, there's definitely some I'm sure we're missing. There's
Oh
some names out there that we
yeah,
would be like, oh my God, that guy. But I'm happy with the list. I think it's solid.
yeah. I'm happy
Um,
that it took me time to
yeah.
actually come up with this many because I thought it would be easier. I thought I would have more, but the fact that I have more people that I like than dislike made me feel better about
hmm
myself. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah, no,
I'm not a
no,
really
I was
negative
thinking the same
person.
thing. I was sitting here just like, God damn, I'm just way too positive about everybody that I
Yeah.
watch. I'm sitting here like, damn. Like I was like, I guess I always just, think of these guys in such a positive light or try to look at the good side of their game or whatever. So yeah, I think it says a lot about how we watch and enjoy soccer that we're kind of looking at all aspects and not just one specific thing that makes us say yes or no to a player. We're really trying to judge all aspects of their game and their personality. It was fun exercise though. Glad we did it.
Yeah. One closing note from my team, at least. So when we did our favorite 11, I had like 10 different countries, something like that, with 11 players. I had a very
Mm,
diverse team. My
hmm
least favorite, 3 Spanish players, 3 English players, 2 Portuguese players. Oh, no, no, no. With my goalie, 4 Spanish players, 3 English players, 2 Portuguese. So I don't know what that says or means, but
yeah,
a little less diversity on my least favorite squad.
yeah. I've got what do I got here? I have 4 English, 3 Spanish, so a lot of similarities there.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right.
All right, that
Well,
was
that's our
fun.
least favorite 11. I think you have some news for me. We'll probably cut it here for
Yeah.
the main segment, but Yeah, lay me with the news that I didn't know about until 5 minutes ago.
Until I let the news go a little early. Um, yeah, so since we last met over the last week, there was actually a lot of stuff that happened in the last episode. We talked about, Bayern Munich making a coaching change, people retiring. The biggest news since then has been that Antonio Conte has officially left Tottenham. Mutual agreement, parted ways about a week ago on Sunday. He's out of Tottenham. The running rumor is that there was a bit of a player revolt within the locker room. There's rumors about different players that were part of it. The main one that seems to be in the news is Richarlison, particularly about his playing time. I think he made public comments, a month or a few weeks ago, specifically about that. He has since come out and said he did not, that he wished him well. He wishes him the best. He wanted to play well for him. He didn't play well enough. But still, the rumors are pretty intense that it was him leading the way. Question for you. First thoughts on him departing, what you think the next best move is going to be for Tottenham, and where you would like Conte to go on other available teams.
Okay. Well, if he lost the locker room, which we can neither confirm nor deny, but if he did, then it was a good firing. Because if the players don't trust him or want him there, you got to get rid of him. However, if that was not the case, I think it was a huge mistake by Tottenham to let him go. They are in such a better position now than they were when he got here. So, or when he got there. So I think if I were a Tottenham fan, I would be disappointed that he's leaving, because who are you going to bring in now?
Yeah.
You know, as far as where I think he should go, I think he should go to the U.S. men's national team. But maybe that's a little wishful thinking. I think Conte's a great coach. His track record speaks for himself. So that's where I want to see him go. Realistically, maybe he'll go back to the Italian league. I don't know. I mean, so many coaches lose their jobs. He could get a new job in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
with a team we don't even know is available. So
what do you think Tottenham's next move will be?
I assume they're going to go with an interim coach, maybe until the end of the year. Just, again, weird timing.
Yeah.
What is there, 10 matches left? And they're fourth in the table, 1 point out of third. They're not going to win the league, but they're pretty secure for European tournaments. I would say they're kind of on the edge of the Champions League, but I think they should stay ahead of Newcastle.
They should. Newcastle does have 2 games in hand, and they're only 2 points behind. So
true, they got that double game this week.
definitely some concern, I would say there. I think Liverpool's going to struggle to catch them, but they also have 2 games in hand. A couple wins from Liverpool in those games in hand, and they'll be just a point off of them. So I don't think their work is over to ensure a European spot. And just once again, echo, what you say, it does feel like weird timing. It feels like you're doing well enough with him. They, won 3 out of the last 5 games. It's not like they're on some crazy losing streak. I would have just wrote it out to the off season. Things are going in the right direction. Let's cut ties then, but let's see our way out to a top 4 finish if we can. And then we'll move forward from there with a new coach. But I think it's going to put a lot of uncertainty with the team. I would be hopeful if I was a Tottenham fan that it just kind of sparks the guys to be like, fresh start, new face, new, whatever style of play. That it kicks into gear some of the guys like Son that have just not really been performing this year. Maybe somebody like Richarlison. Yeah, that would be my hope if I was a Tottenham fan. But in terms of what I think they should do, I think they should go and hire somebody now. I mean, I'm sure they'll probably run a few games with the interim.
They could get the Bayern coach.
I would, yeah, top name on the list. I would say would be to get Nagelsmann. I think he would bring the mentality and the style of play that would help really jumpstart some of the guys that have been struggling. So that would be my move. And I would not be surprised to see that happen quickly.
Yeah, if I were ownership, I would not fire a coach at this point in the season unless I already knew who his replacement was going to be. And I like that replacement more. So maybe they have somebody and they just
Yeah.
haven't locked
We
it
just
down
saw
yet.
Bayern do it.
Right, exactly. Bayern did it. So maybe they're doing the same play. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
This is interesting though,
all
real
right.
quick.
Yeah.
So Tottenham's next 4 matches: Everton, Brighton, Bournemouth, and then on April 23rd, I'm circling this one on the calendar. They are going to Newcastle. That game's going to be
Ooh,
huge for the standings.
massive.
Huge for the
Look at this.
standings.
Look at those last 3 games in a row. On the road at Newcastle, at home against Man U, on the road at Liverpool.
Dude, and then Palace, well, they're kind of in
3
shambles
weeks in
right
a
now.
row.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
a tough stretch to end the year. So yeah, they got to step it up.
Yeah. That'll be, I mean, it'll make the home stretch here really exciting to watch. So definitely some games to look out for. All right, so some other news to quickly go through. So there's rumors this week. I think these are actually beyond rumors. I think the one of the guys on one of the Barca executive actually confirmed this, but Barcelona is in contact with Messi's team, in particular his agent, about him potentially making a return back to Barcelona. Obviously, this would be happening in the off season. Do you think that's the right move for Messi?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Messi, do not go to the MLS. Please don't go to the MLS. Don't go to somewhere in Saudi Arabia and cash a check. Go back to Barcelona where they love and adore you. You don't have to play the same amount of minutes that you played before, but just I hate seeing players just go to the MLS. That
Yep.
that
Yeah,
I
when they don't need to yet.
play one more year, come in for 20 minutes, do messy things, and then ride off into the sunset.
Agreed. I would love to see him go back. I think he's got a couple years left where he could still really contribute. I see that obviously down the road. As you said, right off in the sunset. Maybe he makes a move somewhere else, but not yet. Now's not the time. Just hasn't felt like PSG is the right place for him. Go back home. Go
Is
back to what you know.
Let me ask you this. Outside of maybe Mbappe, is PSG the place for anyone? Talk about a club that
No.
spends like no other, but just
Yeah.
can never get the job done.
It doesn't feel like they have like an identity. Like they just like it really feels like a money club, without I mean, we're not in France, we're not going to the games, we're not seeing the fan base, but
From
I
the
don't
outside,
know.
it looks like that.
It doesn't look like it looks like it's all about money there and not about the passion of the game.
Soulless.
Yeah. That's really what it carries. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think maybe there are a few players that's what they want, but
Yeah.
I think for the players we
Neymar.
love,
What's
that would
up?
never be a home.
I'm looking at you,
Neymar,
Neymar.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so last bit of news. So this one is a rumor, but there's rumors that Real Madrid is going after both Richarlison from Tottenham, as well as Vlahovic off of Juventus. I was very interested to get your take on who do you think they should between the two go and get, and which that you think would thrive more in Real's system.
Well, I think Vlahovic would thrive more. However, I think Richarlison is the better player for them, unless you think Benzema is on his way out. That's the thing. Is like you
Mm.
can't play. I can't say his name. Vlahovic. Just say it real fast. Vlahovic. I don't think you can play him and Benzema at the same time, effectively. But I don't
Yeah,
want to take Benzema off the field. Are you kidding me? So unless Benzema's going out the door, which I don't think he is,
I don't think so.
I think Richarlison would be a better complement to the team.
Hmm. Yeah, and the thing is with soccer, you know, it's different than American sports. It's different than like football or basketball, where the you can go and get a player whenever the fuck you want in soccer. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, it's like, okay, go get him when Benzema leaves then. Go get him in 2 years, you know? Like there's no like this like salary cap contract bullshit where
Well,
it's
they
like,
do
oh,
have
I
transfer
he can't be.
windows.
They have windows, but there's none of these like rules where like, oh, you can't trade this guy because he signed a contract last year. Like there's this type of shit that happens in basketball where it's like, so in soccer it's like you don't need to like make a rush move planning for the future now. You can go and make that move next year, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Where it's kind of, you know, a bit different for us that are used to watching American sports, I think.
Well, yeah, there's no salary
So yeah,
cap.
yeah,
It's a,
I would, so I would agree entirely with you, you know. And and you don't have to make trades. You just buy the player,
yeah. Try.
you know. So it's like,
I would love to see you try to explain the franchise tag to any like European soccer fan. Wait, he's a free agent? Yeah, but he's on the
wait,
franchise tag, which means that he's really not a free agent, but they say he's a
wait, the
free
players
agent.
have a union? There's a collective bargaining agreement? What is that?
He's a free agent, but no other teams can sign him and he can't go anywhere else. Got it. Okay, makes sense. Sounds like a
Wait,
good
so
rule.
if that team wants him, they have to give up players to get him?
Yeah, it's stupid. We have some dumb rules, I got to be honest. Well, because we all our sports are salary regulated. They're all kind of different, but it's it's all open
It's
for
good and bad.
European
I
soccer.
mean, both have pros and both have cons. I mean, there's definitely cons to the European model, but there's cons to the American model too. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's, I don't think we'll ever find the right answer, but it is
Yeah, I
definitely
don't
very
think there
interesting
is
to see
one.
the differences.
Yeah. All right, cool. Any more news and notes?
That's it for news. We do have the Premier League coming back this weekend after a short hiatus,
Did you do your
so we can
picks?
quickly go through our picks. Yep, picks are ready to go.
Yeah, let me pull mine up real quick. I didn't. I wanted to do a little more research on these,
Hmm.
um, and see like who's fit, who's not after the international break because I didn't pay the closest attention to those matches. Um,
Hmm.
I know for the first match, which is probably the highlight of the weekend, Manchester City at home for Liverpool. I know Haaland is a questionable. They don't
Hmm.
have that status, but he's a question mark whether he's going to play. He
Yeah, I guess
didn't play in the
he
international break.
yeah. Yeah, he hurt his groin, I think, and yeah, he didn't play for his team. They really needed him out there.
So, which sucks for my fantasy team because I don't have enough substitutions or transfers to take him out because that fantasy app that we use is stupid. I'll say that
Yeah.
again. Uh,
It is-
but for that match, Haaland or Haalandless, I think Man City is going to win this game, but I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be
Okay.
3-2 because Liverpool it's mandatory that they allow at least one goal. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm picking Man City 3-2 at home.
Okay. I also went Man City with the win at home. I went 3-1. Yeah, like you said, I think they still have so much firepower that they still find a way, even if Haaland isn't playing. They have him listed at 75% chance to play, so there's still some hope there, I think. But
Yeah.
even without him, I think they find a way over Liverpool.
This next one makes me sad, but this is also my lock is Arsenal at home for Leeds. Picked it 3-0. I just don't think Leeds has a
3-1.
chance. 3-1 for you. Okay, you gave him one.
Yeah,
You gave him a pity goal.
give him a goal.
Nice. Nice.
Hopefully it's Ericsson scoring too.
Okay, this one maybe more than me, but Bournemouth is hosting Fulham, and Fulham's had some injuries, but I don't know how healthy they are right now. Do you have any updates on who they're playing?
Well,
Who they're not playing?
if you remember last episode, I told you about the Mitrovic red cards. He's out for I think 4 or 5 games. He's out till like late April, I believe, now
Wow.
because of the shit he pulled.
Is Willian still out?
So he's probably out at least one game, I would think.
Because of these question
Willian.
marks, I made it a 1-1 draw. That's what I went with.
Yeah. Okay. That's smart thinking. Willian
And they had
suspension. What?
well, while you look it up, I'll fill the airtime with the next game. Uh, Brighton is hosting Brentford, and I
Yeah.
just think Brighton is a solid team, so I picked them to win 2-0 at home.
Oh, okay. Against Brentford. Okay. Yeah, so sorry, I looked it up. Yeah, so Willian is out one game suspension for the handball. I did go Fulham winning though. I think Bournemouth's not a good team. 2-1 on the road for Fulham. I went with a 1-1 draw with Brighton and Brentford.
Okay. Also,
Uh,
sneak preview. I
okay.
uh, I picked up McAllister for my fantasy team this week.
Ooh,
I think
all
it's going to
right.
pay off for me. Also,
I like it.
might have given him a vice captaincy.
Oh. Oh.
Calling my shot. Okay,
All right.
so Crystal Palace at home for Leicester. Crystal Palace, who knows, man? Who knows? They got a new coach. You just don't know which team's going to show up. I went with 1-1 draw because I just threw my hands in the air, you know.
I went 2-1 Leicester winning on the road at Crystal Palace. I think they're just going to be in disarray for a while here. I think Leicester's coming around, getting things sorted out a bit. I think they win on the road.
Okay, this one I don't feel confident about, but Nottingham Forest is at home for Wolves, and I gave them a 1-0 victory.
Oh, you
Yeah,
really like that home Nottingham crowd.
I do. For better or worse, it hasn't really been helping me too much, but I don't know. Wolves has been
I
struggling.
went with just yeah, they have. I feel like they've shown flashes though. I went with just your classic tough road game, 1-1 draw. I think it'll just be like a cagey draw that game.
Well, both these. So the bottom half of the league. Okay, excuse Aston Villa from that list, but Crystal Palace and below, they're all basically the same. They're 4 points apart from Crystal Palace in
Yeah.
12th to Southampton in
Wow.
last.
Yeah.
4 points.
Look at that.
So it's like
Hmm.
these teams are very similar, and so much can change if
Yeah.
one of these teams gets 2 wins in a row. Hell, 1 win and a draw. They could jump up into 11th. You know?
Yeah, and with the weird scheduling this year, you still have you have teams that have played 2 less games. So like West Ham is sitting in relegation, but they have 2 games in hand against a team like Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
They could win 2 games and be 3 points ahead of 13th or 12th.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
What's
so tight.
What's weird is this season I am looking forward to the relegation fight more than I am the title fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that Man City can close the gap on Arsenal and make it a little more exciting. But
Hmm.
as of right now, the relegation fight is where it's at.
Yeah. Now we got to watch, as we get down the home stretch, we got to find some of these games that we know are going to be just knock 'em out brawls, and watch one of them live together. That'll be fun.
Absolutely, I'm down. Okay,
All
so
right.
Nottingham
So,
Forest Wolves. What did you go with? Sorry.
yep. Sorry, I had the 1-1 KG draw
Oh,
in
okay,
that
okay.
one. And then the last game of Saturday is Chelsea hosting Aston Villa. I went with Chelsea 2-1 at home.
Yeah, high scoring game for Chelsea. I gave them 2 goals and 0 for Aston Villa.
And 7 offsides for Havertz. Okay.
90 minutes played, no goals.
Four offsides. One shot into the stands.
All right, Sunday we have West Ham at Southampton. This is I West Ham is probably my least favorite team to watch this season. I don't know why. They shouldn't be this boring to me, but they bore me.
They're just they're just disappointing.
But they're not even fun to watch. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I picked them to win 1-0 cuz I wasn't feeling like getting creative.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it's similar. I went 2-1,
Yeah.
1 goal win at home.
This next game on Sunday, Newcastle Man United. This should be fun. Um,
Yeah.
Newcastle has a really good defense, so I expect this to be low scoring. So I actually went with a 1-1 draw.
Mm. I went 2-2 draw. Um,
Yeah, we're on the same
same
page.
thoughts.
Yeah,
I think it'll be very even. Um, I feel like Newcastle's due to just have some gaps in defense though. They can't play the defense they've been playing for the whole season. So I think this might be a game where there's some gaps are exposed.
I do think they're a better home team than a road team. I don't know if the stats bear that out, but I feel
True.
like they just play
True.
better at home, as most teams do. But I think they have a really
Yep.
good home crowd.
Hmm.
All right, the Monday game, Everton is hosting Tottenham. I went Tottenham 2-0. I don't have a lot of faith in Everton, even with my boy Sean Dykes.
Yeah, I went 2-1 Spurs on the road with the win. Yeah, same thing. I think too much firepower, even with the coaching flux situation at Spurs, and Dyche rearranging things at Everton. I just don't think it's going to be enough against those guys. So
Yeah, I feel like with the coaching, if they really wanted him out, the locker room didn't like him there, they're going to play even better. They're going to be like, see, we don't need him.
mhm.
And is the lineup going to be that much different? Probably not. So I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. So
Uh,
then we have a whole bunch of makeup games starting Tuesday and then Wednesday. We have 4 games on Tuesday, all of which are makeup games from prior weeks. First on the list is Bournemouth hosting Brighton. I went 2-1 Brighton on the road.
I went 1-0 Brighton on the road.
All right, same thinking there. Next we have Leeds hosting Nottingham. I have Leeds with the home victory 2-1.
Same. 2-1.
Another place where I think the crowd is just one of the top crowds, I think,
For sure.
when that Leeds crowd gets going.
For
So
sure.
tough to win there. And then we have Leicester hosting Aston Villa. I have the 2-2 draw. I think a high scoring affair, back and forth. Somebody coming back from 2 goals down. That sort of game is just what I'm feeling here.
Yeah, Aston Villa's been playing well, but I'm throwing shade on them for reasons that I can't explain. I'm picking Leicester 2-0 to win.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right. I like it. And then last of the Tuesday games, we have the makeup that was postponed. I remember the week this was postponed. I was pissed. Chelsea hosting Liverpool. I went 2-2.
I went 1-0 Liverpool.
Oh, okay.
This is more wishful thinking, but I think Chelsea doesn't figure out a way to score this week, like most weeks, and Liverpool gets the win.
All right. I think I don't know. I just feel like Liverpool's been so susceptible at times.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I think this of all the games is a game where Chelsea does find a way to score. So,
That's
but
fair.
I still see a draw.
Okay, then the two Wednesday games. Man United at home for Brentford. I think they take this one easily, 3-1. Brentford also has a match a few days before, and Man United is just much deeper than them, so they should be able to win this game at home.
So I also went 3-1. The one thing I'm sticking on here is this is Man United's opportunity for revenge. If you remember, what was it, third game of the season, the 4-0 beatdown at Brentford.
I forgot
Um,
about that.
I think I think they're going to circle this game on the calendar and they are going to give everything they have to dominate Brentford in this game.
Good call.
So I think, yeah, I think a 3-1 victory.
Okay.
And I made it my lock.
As I was going to say, you haven't said your lock yet. That's got to be that one. All right, good call. And then the last game, West Ham at home for Newcastle. I think Newcastle is just the clear better team, so I picked them to win 2-0.
Okay, I went 1-1. I think it'll be really tough game. Newcastle play their classic, brick wall defense. Um, I don't know. I always got a soft spot for West Ham, I think. My Crystal Palace for you. Um, yeah, I think they find a way in this one, 1-1.
All right, cool. Yeah, a lot of good games. I'm looking forward to Saturday. That Man City Liverpool match is at 4:30 in the morning, which is just a real bummer.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need to watch that recorded without getting the results spoiled for me. So that's the goal.
It's tough. Yeah.
And then Saturday afternoon, the real game of the weekend, San Diego State in the Final Four, baby.
3 p.m.
Let's go. Aztecs.
We'll be watching. Oh, yeah.
I may or may not have a $10 Aztecs to win the tournament bet. 60-1. So let's go. Let's fucking go.
Let's add that on the betting list.
Hell yeah. That is magneted to my fridge.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Damn, when did you pick that one up?
Dude, in like January, like before like the seeding even happened. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a smart move there. All right, yeah, we'll be obviously big game, big weekend for March Madness. So hopefully we're talking about San Diego State some more next week. That would be real exciting. Before we go, I know we're winding things down, but we do need to make a prop bet for this week. We missed last week because we didn't have any games. So just real quick, going through the games, a lot of games. So we have, 6 makeup games plus the 10 normal games over the weekend. So 16 games coming up. So out of these 16, we got to choose an underdog that we think's gonna come through with a tie or a win. So the first option is Liverpool on the road at Man City at plus 420. We have Leeds at Arsenal at plus 850.
No shot.
The next underdog is Brentford at Brighton plus 440. Then we have Aston Villa at Chelsea. We have Southampton at West Ham. Everton hosting Tottenham is a greater than 100-point underdog.
I can't do
Bournemouth,
it. I can't do it.
Yeah, Bournemouth hosting Brighton is at plus 460.
Wait. Brighton is the underdog?
No. Bournemouth hosting Brighton is the underdog. Nottingham on the road at Leeds is underdog. And
I haven't picked any of these. Is Liverpool Chelsea? Is Liverpool an underdog?
And what's that? The last?
It's Tuesday.
No, they're even odds, both plus 160.
Oh, man.
And then we have the last option is Brentford at Man U is an underdog.
Yeah, no chance. Dang, I don't like any of those.
Yeah.
That's tough. You want to go first? You want to pick the first one?
I'll take the Brentford at Brighton. I think I could see that being a draw.
Yeah, I was looking at that one too. Okay. I don't like any of these. I'll just God, I don't like that one either. Jesus. You know what? I'll take Southampton at West Ham. I feel horrible about it. It like makes me sick to my stomach even saying it. But maybe they get a draw because West Ham is just so disappointing.
Get a draw. They can get a draw.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it.
Cool. Well, let's reconvene next week and talk about this slate of games because I'm sure there's going to be some good ones.
Yeah, it'll be fun. A fun weekend of soccer. 16 games over the next week, so a lot of soccer to watch.
Hey, when's Champions League coming back? It's coming back soon, right?
Good question. Let's
Let's see, I'm
look.
pulling it up now. It is back April
Tuesday,
11th.
April 11th. Yeah.
So a little less than 2 weeks away. All right. Yeah, that Man City Bayern. Whoo! You better block your calendar. Do it now.
And Milan, Napoli. Ooh, some good
Yeah.
games.
Even Chelsea. I like all of them. Even Inter Benfica.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm all for it. So let's go. All right, cool, man.
It'd be
Well,
fun.
I'll
All right.
talk to you next week.
All right. See you
Cheers.
soon. Cheers.